Hello everyone, welcome to episode 26. The year is 2023. So we'll start this one out with this little picture. Day after Christmas, you can see the pond here is completely frozen over and deer are out there walking on it, I guess trying to knock a hole in it and get some water. And guess who's back? I don't know if it's mama and two babies or two males trying to make mama have babies. You be the judge. Well, I've decided to buy a skidster. This is a 259 D3. It's a 20 model. They delivered it somewhere in January. Here's a picture of it. So, can't wait to get in that thing. All right, so here's a text I got from Andy. So he let us know that Mom Marvine had fallen on the ice out on the sidewalk and had a pretty bad black eye. So he says, hey, here's a pic of Mom, she's doing much better, and no, I'm not left-handed. So so I text back laughing out loud, I'm sure the Marines taught you how to throw a punch left-handed. I don't think he thought that was very funny, so we had to tease him, and Mike told him, he says, well, we just know you backhander with your right hand. So anyway, here's a picture of her. So it looked pretty bad. So in teasing Andy and about this whole thing, Julie and I bought a 3-pack of this Slap Your Mama hot sauce. And the reason we did that, because anytime Andy and Mike are over there, they always come eat lunch, breakfast, dinner, they're always there, and they love to put hot sauce on just about everything. So we bought this Slap Your Mama hot sauce, and we took Marvine's picture and we taped it on the back of every one of them. So eventually they saw it, and it was pretty funny. So they laughed. Mom Marvine finally saw it. She laughed. She was showing everybody her picture on the Slap Your Mama hot sauce. So it ended up being a inside joke that ended up pretty funny. We all laughed. Okay, so this trip to Montana, spring month this year, 2023, we called Woodward Tractor out of Cody, Wyoming, and we rented some equipment. And I've been renting equipment for this guy for, oh my God, close to 15 years now. He puts it on the books, they deliver it to you, they pick it back up. I mean, I have had like zero issue with these people. They send good equipment. So anyway, Woodward Tractor, Cody, Wyoming. I found he has better prices and better delivery than getting in Billings, Montana, which is 70 miles even closer than he is. So anyhow, so this year we rented a Bobcat E35 from him. We needed a mini X, small excavator here for digging small trenches and that type of stuff. And we also rented a John Deere 650 J. We needed it to get some roads in better condition, that type of stuff. And we also rented a 145 link belt excavator. This one, wasn't too big, wasn't too small, it was just about the right size. The one we rented, unlike this picture, actually had a dozer blade on the front of it, which made it even better. So we got some septic tanks that we need to put in, and that's why we rented this thing. Well, this was delivered at the end of the road, and here I am, driving this thing the 3-mile stretch down the dirt road. And yes, it's boring. Okay, so here's a picture of Heidi, and I'm pretty sure she wants to borrow one of my DeWalt hats, or maybe go outside, I'm not sure which. And here's Heidi out on the front porch, and I promise you she's looking for rabbits. She scans the Serengeti, waiting for her prey. All right, so here's Heidi. She jumped in the side-by-side with Julie and myself because she's ready to go to work. And here is that nasty road going down to the house. But we're jumping in the side-by-side anyway because ABC's there and they're putting up the wainscoting. So that is the bottom 3 feet of metal that they're getting there. It will go vertical, the other siding will go horizontal. So we're going to check out their work. And this is what it looked like. So, and again, wainscoting. I've always said it wrong. I'm from the South. We call it wainscoting. So usually the way in the South, they put the S on the end of the N. So it's wainscoting. Well, looked it up and it's wainscoting. So anyway, I think this came out pretty good. So ABC takes this metal and they run it through a machine. They make every piece out of a roll that goes there. So depending on what you want, they put different dies in, roll it right out of a roll. And then they slap it up in place. Here they are doing their work. You can see the ABC trailer. Well, we don't have the roof up yet or the rest of the siding. So therefore, when it does leak, when it does rain, should I say, and snow sits up there, it does leak some. You can see these windowsills actually leaking. So it's from the amount of water that comes down that wall between the two roofs. So once all the flashing's up there, this should be a thing of the past. So we're hoping anyway. So as you can see in this picture, they're starting to put the siding up. House starting to look like a house. And then the snow came. Wasn't too bad. Don't think it's going to stick, but it did start snowing. And then the snow was gone. So I decided to get out the Skid Pro mower, and my neighbor Jason across the street, he's going to try to grow some Christmas trees. So they're going to start out with like 50 just to test the waters. So he asked if I could help him out, so I went over to his field to mow this thing so they could plant those trees. This thing did a pretty good job. Looked pretty good when we're done. Well, remember that excavator we rented? Well, when I told Mike that we had to dig some septic tanks, he asked me if he had showed up for work to do that in the right attire, in the appropriate suit. I told him, I said, no, these are brand new. They haven't been used yet. He said, okay, and ripped that suit off. All right, so here's the first septic tank we're putting in. It's 1,000 gallon. You can see it has the two green lids there. And this tunnel is, the overflow. And instead of doing little serrated pipes, this gives a lot more volume and you don't have to go near as far with it. So anyway, this is us putting that one in the ground, and you can see that excavator back there did a good job of digging this hole out real quick. Here's a little bit closer up picture. So Andy's shoveling dirt back in to make those ends stay in place. And here's the 1,500 gallon at the new house. So see Mike's down there trying to get that pipe to go into it, and Andy's pushing it towards him. Had to dig a lot of dirt out for this one. We actually put 2 tracks of that exhaust water, or whatever you want to call it. All right, so here's Mike pondering on the best way to lift these things. These are 2 6,000 gallon tanks that we need to put in the ground. These are going to hold our fresh water. These are going to become water cisterns. Now, because they're poly, now they're tough, they're strong, but still, you only put them in the ground 2/3. So you want to leave 1/3 of it out of the ground. So I believe these things are 12 foot tall, so we're going to put them 8 feet in the ground, have 4 foot standing off the ground. They're black. Might freeze a little bit of water around the edge, but it'll never freeze in the middle. So we're not real worried about that. And this will give me 12,000 gallons of water at any given time. Again, here's another view of those 2 tanks. And here's the hole we dug. So this is a pretty massive hole that we dug. And so we get those 2 tanks in. And it looks huge, but those 2 tanks barely fit in there. There was not a lot of room. Well, here's a picture of Julie's spaghetti / Alfredo. That's Mike's favorite meal that she cooks. So here's a picture of the goats and sheep coming running because somebody probably cranked up the 4-wheeler or something and they think that's a dinner bell. So here they come. Okay, so here's the road. So at Dozer we rented, Jeremy came over from next door and he took his time and got this thing like pretty level. I mean, pretty nice. He dug down a little bit, and the reason he did that is because we plan on putting geofabric down and then some gravel because we were sick and tired of the mud. This is good and hard and dry right now, but the minute that water hits it, this This whole area has a lot of bentonite, and the bentonite's those fine dust that lands on everything out here. So the minute water hits it, it's slick. All right, well, let's watch this little dust storm at work. Well, you can see that dust storm just takes that dirt and throws it everywhere. So we've got to get something done on this road. So cranked up the 259D3. We got a small load of rocks in the dump trailer. You can see that video over at Good Enough DIY here on YouTube. And so we cranked this puppy up, and we put the Harley rake on the front of it. Power rake, Harley rake, everybody calls it something different. So we got this road as smooth and level as possible. And you know, we had wraps all the way around the house, so it's one big circle drive basically. And here is that black geo fabric. This stuff comes in a 13-foot wide, 108-foot long roll. So you roll it out and you staple it down, and you know, we put a little rock, a little bit of gravel at the edges so the wind can't blow it up. And you don't want this stuff out too long. You put it down, you get the rock on top as soon as possible. So here I am putting some gravel on this thing. This is what they call 2-inch, inch and 3/4, 2-inch. So we'll pack this down for a couple of years, and then after that we'll put a little bit smaller stuff on it to really make it into like a concrete road. Well, you can see Steven and Mike are rolling this roll out, and Julie's down there with the staples going to town putting this stuff out. All right, I'm going to introduce you to Steve. Steve works at Prince in Forsyth, Montana. He runs their dump truck, and he runs their big their concrete truck and their big dump truck. So I think Steve's one of those guys that just does it all. So anyway, we called Steve up, said, all right, Steve, we got that geo fabric down. Can you please bring us a load of rock? Well, here he came. Let's watch Steve in action. In this video, he's tying his chains, so this the belly on this belly dump truck will only open up so much. So that's what he's doing here. And he's going to back up a little bit and get a running start at this thing. Let's again watch him in action. Well, in this third clip, you can see that he made it all the way to the house. So not too bad. We're going to need a lot more rock though. But for the first load, worked out great. Okay, so you see this PVC pipe in the wall here? That's just some 2-inch PVC pipe, and that's so we can make a loop in our PEX to the outside water spigot, and that way if I ever have to replace it, it will have plenty of slack. So this big loop will end up being inside the wall behind, you know, sheetrock or whatever, wood, and you'll never see it, but it'll give me access to change that thing without having to tear anything up. Just thinking ahead. Okay, so there's Andy with his coat on. We got the garage doors open, and I see we got the air compressor with a hose running up because it's time to start putting some flooring on that second floor. So piece after piece of OSB's headed up. And now we got some flooring up there, and this kind of gives you an idea of what it looks like. So we got some floor up there. Looking down at the DeWalt tables. Got to keep those tools organized, that way you know where each one's at. And here's a better picture up there. So Steve is actually standing in the stairwell. And yeah, there's some lights up there, and here we are going to town. Okay, here we're building a wall to go around that stairwell. All right, now we're back at the cabin, probably for lunch or dinner. Anyway, so don't know what this picture was about. Maybe it's to prove to somebody I was wearing my DeWalt pants, socks, and boots. So, well, after lunch we go back, and I'm like, Mike, where are you headed to? Where are you running off to? He jumped on the four-wheeler. Yep, to the bathroom he went. Well, he came back about 10 minutes later. I said, buddy, where are you going now? He said, I gotta go back to the bathroom. So he jumps on the four-wheeler, takes off again. Yep, we know where he's headed. And right after that, it was really funny. So saw these two dung beetles fighting over, how ironic is that? Okay, so heard some noise coming from underneath the porch, and Julie looked under there, and sure enough, for some reason the birds have built a nest there. So here's their babies. Okay, so here's the back of the tractor, and trying to get some stuff set up to make this 15-foot bat wing that I have actually run a little bit better. So I'm gonna get it set up because we have traded in the tractor, and this had a 75 horse case, and it would run that 15-foot bat wing and do pretty good, but it just didn't seem like it had enough horsepower. So we've traded it in. They gave me an excellent price on it, and they sold me a 120 horse. This thing will run it without any issues. This is a Rhino 4150. That means it will cut 4-inch, anything 4-inch and lower. And the 150 means it's 15.0 feet from side to side. And here's me for the first time in the new tractor, mowing with this thing. Well, it's the road's looking pretty good, the gravel, and now I've got a bucket full of dirt because Mike and I have got to level off an area behind the house to actually pour the slab. So as you can see, that's what we're doing. We've leveled it off. Wes Duncan's there, and we're getting all the rebar in place and tied off, getting everything ready for concrete. So let's meet the concrete crew. This is Wes Duncan. So his crew consists of usually him, his wife Patty, and his daughter Abby. So they are the 3-person crew, and sometimes they even bring their grandson along. He's, I don't know, about a year old or less, and I guess he's the cheering section. So anyway, so for concrete, again, we have Steve, and we have the other guy, James. We call him Not Steve. These are the two guys that run the concrete trucks for Prince, and yeah, so this is a big pour, so it's going to have to happen over several days. So, well, like I said, that happens over a couple day period. I think on Monday we did 2 trucks, and Wednesday we did 2 trucks, and then Friday maybe 1 truck, something like that is what it was going to take to get that thing done. So we're back here and having dinner that evening. Let's see what happens here.
Oh, that sounds so tasty. So we got more buckets where this one came from.
Okay, well, after supper I went out to mow some grass, and this is what I saw. So, big old rattlesnake crossing the road. I realized I'm on a lawnmower, so it's hard to film this, but let's take a look. That rattlesnake was big enough, I didn't want to mess with it. And so, coming out of the cabin after lunch, or supper, should I say, naturally Heidi saw a rabbit, and Julie filmed it. Well, that rabbit made it that day. Okay, here we are back to pouring some more concrete. Oh, those 2 little video shorts were pouring more of the concrete driveway. So anyway, take a look at this. This is a wood chipper that I picked up off a guy on Marketplace, and got it apart because we're checking to see how sharp the knives are on it, and they're in pretty good shape. So we're gonna put this thing back together, and we're gonna go try it out. We'll see how that goes. That thing seems to work pretty good. Well, remember here a while back, got Jeremy to paint some doors and doors and door frames for me, and one of those trays was for my old lawnmower, my old Toro. So now I have the Bad Boy Renegade 72-inch. So it's a beast. You see Jeremy sitting on this thing, and he's actually we're actually filming him talk about this lawnmower because he's actually going to do a small episode on just the bad boy mower. That'll be over on Good Enough DIY. So Good Enough, GOODNUFF DIY. So he'll get that thing out and y'all can watch the whole thing. So it's him driving it around. Mike's talking about the different features on this particular bad boy. So again, y'all will see that in a future video. Okay, well this year, we actually had 3 boats when we went for Father's Day to go fishing. And so it was Julie and I in one boat, Stephen and Chase in one boat. Chase actually flew up last minute from Texas to join us for this trip, so he wouldn't miss it this year. And also Mike and Jeremy got their own boat. So we actually had 3 boats going down the Bighorn River and stayed at the same place, the Bighorn Angler. And show you a few pictures here because Jeremy actually did an entire video on this for all 3 boats and the facilities. And again, those are over on the other channel, which is Good Enough DIY. There's a video of me. Got one hung up pretty good. So he's putting up a pretty good fight. We're flowing fast. And here's a picture of Julie and I in the boat. Guess we were pulling this out on the dock. I'm not sure. Okay, so here's a short film of Mike trying to do his famous hat trick.
In a sec, I gotta get it shaped here.
Okay, so you've seen me mow with this Skid Pro mower before, but now I am on the outside of the fence, between the fence and the road, and I need to mow this up. It has not been mowed since we put the fence up for years. So I need to mow this thing down because there's little tree starting and that type of stuff, and I just can't have that. So this is how it worked coming down the fence line. I tell you what, it mows very well, very nice. Looks like a manicured lawn when you're done. Well, here's a little video of Julie and Mom Marvine headed to the shed down there at the mailboxes.
Here we are, Julie. We'll try this again. All this huge load. I don't know how you got it all in here. Man, just going to the mailbox is a big job here. What is it, 3 miles down there? Wow. And there's no room for anything else. You're lucky you didn't have to put it on top. Now you can let the guys unload it.
Yes, Mom.
They've got to do that for you. That was heavy.
Well, Julie to the rescue again. Got everything in one trip. Here's the DeWalt table with the DeWalt tools. Gotta have good tools to build a house. And here's Heidi dancing for her food. Dance, Heidi, dance. Come on, dance. Heidi, come on, dance. Dance. You gotta do the dance. Are you happy? Well, Mike likes to go to Billings about once a year or so he decided he needed a haircut. So I gave him one. And this is Mike and I going to Lowe's and going to Home Depot. And after a quick costume change, here we are at Lowe's. Okay, well, our little summer trip's just about over. Arlene flew up and she came to hang out for a few days. She had a break from college, from university, school. And she came up for a few days and we're all gonna fly back together. So here's Arlene at the ranch. And gave her a ride in the tractor while I was pulling those old tires down the road. And Heidi finally let her stop barking at her and let her pet her for a while. She's cozying up to her. And Stephen decided to take Arlene and Julie and Heidi on a tour. So, because Arlene hadn't really seen the whole ranch, so Stephen was gracious enough to be a good host. Heidi usually likes kisses. We'll see how this works out. Can't believe it, the pond actually has a little water in it. Yeah, that look on Heidi's face, you're not 100% sure if she likes Arlene yet or not. She's so finicky. Well, here I am on that with that Harley rake again, trying to get the driveway coming up to the cabin in better shape. Skid Pro actually calls this their powered soil conditioner. Again, others call it a Harley rake, power rake. They just happen to call it a soil conditioner. Well, we're headed to Billings to jump on a plane and head back to Texas. So, and it was just a really odd red sky, and Arlene filmed it. Pretty neat looking. We are back in Texas, and I get the opportunity spend time with the grandkids. Then it was Rain's birthday and Julie's birthday. So actually, on Julie's birthday, we all went to the beach.
What you think? One more drink while we sit by the bonfire. 'Cause this might be love. It's a feeling that
All had a great time. Awesome day at the beach. Everybody had fun. It's probably the most fun I've ever had at the beach in my life. So there was nothing but happiness and smiles all day. Okay, so, well, we're back here in Texas, and I'm not going to get into a lot of detail over this project, but bottom line is I am making cutouts for the air conditioner registers to fit in before the sheetrock goes up. So these are just a smidge thicker than the 5/8 drywall that are just going on the ceiling, and it ought to blend in pretty good. And I'm getting this done while I'm in Texas because I'm gonna have to be here for about a month. And as soon as we get back, we got to put these things up. I've been working on these registers, so I ended up with 2 sheets of 3/4 inch MDF. I've cut these squares out, and Stephen came and helped me. My buddy John Blank came over, helped me cut all these out. We cut them all out, routed them all out. So these are the finished, not the finished products, but the finished cuts, shall I say. And here's, I'm doing a little, I think 1/8 inch round out because the sheetrock is 5/8 and these are 3/4. And by just shaving just a hair off, I know it's going to blend in just right. And, you know, so that's what I did here. Okay, so now I've got this primer, and Julie and Arlene and I are going to prime each and every one of these things. By the way, I believe it's either 54 or 56 of these we made, because that's how many we needed to put up. That's how many registers will be throughout the entire house. Air conditioner vents, some people call them. So here's pictures of us painting these. So painting the inside, the outside, getting them all primed and ready for paint. And you see we hung this big yellow string out in the backyard. I was spraying them in big DeWalt box, and Julie would go hang them on this clothesline, and we'd put a coat on them and let it dry, and then we'd put a coat on it and let it dry, and I'd get a couple coats on there, and then I'd sand it down, and if it needed more, we'd put some more paint on it. So I'm using this Bullseye. I've used other things before. Not super impressed with this. They make this huge can with a big wide fan. Probably good for some applications, definitely not for small parts. I wouldn't buy the big cans ever again. So we would do about a dozen of these at a time. And we just grabbed some cheap shower hooks to put on this clothesline. So here's beautiful Julie, all framed out and framed out again. Anyway, we got that job done, got them all painted, and just like that, presto, we're back in Montana. So, show you us installing them. So, here's Mike installing these things. I'm handing them up to him. And we're actually in the kitchen here. And we're getting these things put up. And there's one. Ta-da! And another one. He looks amazed. Are you surfing? And again, ta-da! I think he's as proud of himself as I am of him. So, All right, so I was telling you about the big tractor there. The 120 horse case, this tire is bigger than Julie. So a little bit bigger machine. All right, so let me introduce you to Bubba and Mindy. They are my next door neighbors in Texas, and they have jumped on a plane and come up here with us to see the progress, see what's going on, and take a little vacation of their own. So they're going to stay a day or two, and then they're going to do the whole Yellowstone thing and go see parts of Montana. They've never been here before, so they came for a visit. So, and these are some pictures she took, and here's a picture of the finished driveway on the back of the house. It came out really well. Goes in good with the doors, and yeah, it looks great. So it's a better picture than I've taken of it. So here's Bubba and myself. Really good friends. Been great neighbors, good friends. Couldn't ask for better. So here's Mindy and Julie. And here's a picture looking back at the cabin and the garage. You can see I've mowed some grass there. And we'll watch this little tour that gave him on the side by side. That is Wes on my cistern, and we're fixing to start digging out all this dirt in front of the gate, between the road and the gate. We're going to be digging all this out so that we can get some gravel in here and pour some concrete apron. So this particular mud is just the worst. So I can see down here, this is the start of us pouring this concrete. We're going to pour a little bit of it right there, and then we're going to pour the left, looking at it from this direction, the left side, and then in a couple of days we'll pour the right side. We have to let one cure so we can still drive in and out of here. So, and there's Wes's crew. So his daughter and wife are getting after it. So everybody gets concrete poured. Let's check this out. And there you have it. We have the left side coming in, the right side going out the left side, but we have one half of it done. It's looking great. So, and here's a pro tip from Wes Duncan.
All right, pro tip of the day, Wes Duncan. Never ever forget your rebar in concrete.
That one was for you, Mike. So here we are pouring the second half. So now we've got the second half poured a couple of days later, and I have a rope around my waist while I'm filming, because if I don't have a rope around Wes, he will just slide off the very end. This is steeper than it looks. Okay, well, this cistern mine has been doing great since we got it earlier this year, but it keeps on throwing up these codes, and it goes in this limp mode, and then I get it out of the limp mode, it does it again. And I've already brought this thing to the Caterpillar place in Billings, and they couldn't really find an issue with it, what was causing it, but every time you jar or kind of hitting the dirt too hard, something's loose, something's not right, and this thing goes in the limp mode. And yeah, this just isn't working out. So anyway, let me get off that machine and get back on my tractor. So I think I'm gonna go mow some grass this evening. The tractor's got lights, and looks like a full moon out there, so I can mow grass late. All right, well, I mowed for a couple hours that evening, and now the plumbers have called. They've been working on the in-floor heating system, but they called and said that my water heaters were in. And I don't want these things sitting on the ground, and I don't want them on those little cheap metal stands. So Mike and I and Steven are in the middle of building a super strong super duper strong platform, table, whatever you want to call it, for these things to sit on. So this is what it looks like. And got a piece of 3/4 inch plywood on top of it. This would be plenty strong, plenty stout to hold those two water heaters. Okay, well, it's later in the year, and it gets dark pretty early, so we end up going down to the mailbox, to check mail every few days or so. And Mike and his daughter-in-law put this shit up a couple of years ago, Janae, and it's great because they stick all our packages in there, and for the whole neighborhood. I mean, there's 10 people getting packages there, so it's pretty awesome that Mike did that. And the only problem is, when it's dark, you can't see anything unless you park just right and shine your lights just right. You can't hardly even see to get out. So we have taken and installed a solar-powered motion light on the outside and inside of this particular shed. So now even when you go inside, you can see whose packages is whose. So it's pretty bright. Well, here it is, nighttime, and I'm bored and I'm not ready to go call it a day. So Mike and I have built 2 new drags. I don't have the tire drag anymore. We have taken a big piece of expanded metal, built a frame around it, and I believe this thing is about 35 bags of sackcrete that we have mixed and poured into this thing. This thing is heavy, but again, I got the newer, bigger tractor, and I'm dragging it down the road between the main road that we all drive on, should I say, and it's doing a pretty good job. Well, we had a shipment come in from Costco, and it had a little bit of dry ice in it, and so Mike threw it in a sink full of water.
Ice and water. Don't touch this.
You heard Mike, don't touch the stuff. And don't try this at home, kids. I got this cool pair of Crocs, Gotta have something to wear when you're inside the cabin at night, in case you gotta step out on the porch or something. They don't get any cooler than that. Okay, so talking with Mom Marvine. So I know some guys that have a YouTube channel out of Texas. They're bounty hunters, and it's called Lone Star Fugitive Hunters. Pretty awesome guys, and she was telling me about all the episodes she had seen, and she just loves seeing these guys. So anyway, so I gave him a call and talked to him, and I made this little short video for her.
Hey, it's Brandon here from Lone Star Fugitive Hunters. Wanting to give a special shout out to our #1 fan from Hysham, Montana, Marvine. And I have a special guest here for you that I hear you like.
It's Mr. X. Thank you for watching. Give Heidi a hug for us.
Thanks for being our fan.
Well, I think she thought that was pretty cool. And thanks to Brandon and Mr. X there. Okay, so moving on to another task. This is a picture, you see Mike up there. He's putting some J channel in because we have found what we want to put on the ceiling. And the product we're going to put on the ceiling is called Truss Core. Trusscore. Truss Core. Researched a lot of products. I could have put metal up here because it would have been lightweight and that type of thing, but I would have had to put a ton of screws in and stuff, and just don't think it really looked good on the ceiling. So anyway, ordered this truss core. So we're getting the J channel put in up there. You can see Steven operating the lift, and Mike's screwing this stuff up. And we're going to cut this truss core and put it up and see how it looks. And again, you won't see any screws or nails or anything like that. So that's pretty awesome. And this stuff just locks together like a tongue and groove. It's 16 inches wide, and you can get it in various lengths. I think it comes from 8 foot all the way to 25 feet. I don't know. It comes long. So you can buy this stuff in pretty much any size you want. And you can see once you screw it in, like again said, they just lock together. So let's get some of this stuff up on the ceiling. And real easy to drill a hole in it so you can put your lights in it. So this stuff is extremely strong, but super lightweight. And there's no painting involved because it's already shiny white. So we'll never have to get up there later and paint the ceiling. Alright, looks like Julie's taking selfies with Heidi. It must be getting real close to supper time. Heidi usually goes to the cabin right before supper time, and she usually beats us there by a few minutes. That dog's got to watch somewhere. Okay, and out of nowhere, it's starting to snow. And snow it did. So, yeah, it dropped quite a bit of snow. And it started to melt off like it always does. Doesn't usually last long. This looks like about 2 good inches of snow. So the first for this year, might be 3 inches. So here's a picture of those water tanks that we put 2/3 in the ground. And like I said, there's about 4 to 5 feet sticking up out of the ground. And here's the picture of the pond with snow covering. You can see that the curvature down inside the pond. Now we just got to figure out how to make it hold water. And nice view from the front from the truck here. And so it's getting colder and time to continue putting some rock wool in the bottom walls. So told Stephen to take the small packs that we'd cut and start taking them from the attic and bring them down. So that's exactly what he did. Just real fast like. All right, well, it's time for us to leave. So we got quite a bit of rock wool up, and you can see from this picture that Wes is back out on the property. During the winter time, he doesn't pour a whole lot of concrete, so he does other things. And he and I talked, and he's gonna build this pole barn, place for me to park the tractor, the skid steer, that type of stuff. So yeah, it's going good. So he brought his skid steer out, and he's getting ready to hang trusses, it looks like. Yeah, he's got the walls all up. It's looking good. Not too much snow on the ground. This is right next to that corral. And to other things, look who's graduating. Arlene is graduating. She's got her MBA from Lamar University, and that was great for her to do that. And we're really proud of her. And let's watch her walk here.
Arlene Watson Obra. Anthony and Corbin.
And we had Christmas. The whole family. My mom came over, and Chase and Heaven showed up with the kids, Rain and Lincoln, and yeah, we just had a really good time. So everybody was there. It was great. We had a good Christmas. Really great. And I will leave this video on one note. So kids, children, please just say no to drugs. See you guys later. Bye.
If you feel we've earned it, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.